A mom left a comment on one of our videos saying that she's trying to learn to have patience with her son and trying to figure out ways to have him out in public without him freaking out and her feeling embarrassed. What are your thoughts on this?
To be honest with Jasant, I used to take him to work functions. I'm in the military, to all these mandatory fun places, and he will have meltdowns. He hated being around a huge group of people. He did not like being around people, and he'll just start screaming and crying and try to run like high speed type of. It was a high speed chase with him. So essentially, I wanted to keep him home. When I was married to David, we essentially agreed that if one had to go someplace, the other one will stay home with Jasant. It was not, it was terrible taking him out. His medications were not there. He would get acclimated to his medications quickly. And yes, I used to be embarrassed. Yes, I used to feel extremely sad not being able to go anywhere. It was just home, or if we had to go somewhere, we made sure we came back home quickly. Jason would only give us at least no more than 15 minutes. If I took him to the store, no more than 15 minutes, he'll start having meltdowns. He will start throwing himself on the ground or just sit on the ground screaming and crying. So yeah, you're not alone. It's part of it. And with Jasant, one thing I noticed about him from the time he was younger, he would really get acclimated to his medications quickly. They would put him on a new set of medications. He did very well, and then he will essentially revert back to all his terrible behaviors. And I've always mentioned this, always mentioned that shit to to the doctors. Eventually, the first time that I finally felt heard or felt seen or a psychiatrist listened to me was last year. She put in a request for him to get a gene site test or report. And they use his DNA to test what medications based on his genes that he'll be compatible with. And that's the first time Jason got his test, and Jason was 16 years old. And I have been saying something about Jason getting acclimated to his medications since he was 4. Since he was 4. And it just seems like I was getting gaslit by medical professionals. They probably thought I wanted to zombify my kiddo, and that was not the case. Jason was throwing tantrums. Jason was breaking things in our home. Ultimately, it is trial and error. We are just now getting comfortable with with primarily, I'll thank Candace for that, where she's starting to take him out here and there. And when we do take him out, we make sure we let servers know, hey, can we put his food in first? We're looking at the menu ahead of time before we go out, and then we know exactly what we're going to get him, and we make sure we put in his food immediately. We still try to have the family experience of, going to sit at a restaurant. We make sure we put his food in first, because if he has to wait, then he starts screaming. And no matter how family friendly or kid friendly a restaurant is, it's still it's terrible. Especially back in our days, people did. I know it wasn't that long ago. He's only 16, but people were not understanding. They didn't understand, so they would just give us dirty looks. They would look at us like, "What is wrong with him?" or "Why are you out here?" We have had experience where myself and David, he had a doctor's appointment or something like that, and we were playing a video for Jason just to keep him busy, and he was so excited and he was screaming. And there was this elderly gentleman. He was just like, "Will you just stop it?" He legit looked at us and he told us, "Would you just stop?" Telling us that we needed to stop him to calm him down. And him not knowing that we can't. This was the only way. This was our way of making sure he was interacting with us and he was not destroying the waiting room. So it's been a roller coaster, and it's okay to feel that way. And truthfully, it was more so 30% embarrassment, 70% sadness, because people didn't understand. They were confused as to why this kid here is screaming, and as a mother, or as parents, we're his parents, we're not doing anything about it.